Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University of Love, the best podcast of 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I would just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we're coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 11:30 Central Time at night. Let me put my glasses on. It is cold. I believe I'm coming down with the cold. But ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about something very important. Two things, and this will be a short podcast. First thing, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have a website, okay? Does not matter. Make sure you have a website. Make sure you have a functional website. Make sure your website is you have it indexed. Make sure you have tags on there. You don't necessarily have to stuff keywords in there. You'll see a lot about that. But one of the most important things you should do when you have a website is have some content on there, have some articles on there. Make sure you have a clear direction, a clear focus, what your website's about, what you're about, what you're trying to do, what you're talking about. And let's say you want to do, always have affiliate links and stuff that you use. Like let's say you do video. Let's say you do a YouTube channel, and you just want people to come check out your website. Make sure you say, "Hey, I use this equipment. You know, you could always be an affiliate for Amazon. It'll get some cash rolling in. You say, "Hey, I use a Canon M50." You know, click on the link if you want to support. You know, use my link to buy the camera. You know, of course, you get a little commission, but websites are still, it's something, it's real estate to have on the internet. You know, it's a nice place for people to go. It's a nice place for people to find you, no matter what. If your app breaks down, your social media falls apart, you say, "Hey, I got a website. You know, this is my website." It's just the same thing as the email list. Hey, it's my email list, it's my website. You might have a host, but you can always switch the host. You can always, it's your website. Nobody can really take that away from you. And so, just be mindful of that. And another thing, the second thing I want to talk about is, I got this email today. I subscribed to this email list. I was just reading a few of this guy's emails, and one thing that he said today was, "Hey, you're not ready to start this," and then he talked about how he does a call with people, and for 30 minutes, and he says 7 out of 10 people he tells them don't do this or don't do that. And I got to think to myself, you never let anybody tell you, "Hey, you're not ready for this." It's like being a coach in the NFL. You see all these coaches, and then a lot of times people are like, we need a coach that's has experience. But sometimes a coach that already has experience has already peaked when it comes to coaching. It's like there was a coach. He coached Houston this year, Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, he was coach of the Bears like 15 years ago. He took them to the Super Bowl. Lovie Smith was a very good coach. He was a great coach in Chicago. And he got fired eventually from Chicago because, unfortunately most NFL coaches, they get fired eventually. And Lovie Smith, he got fired from Chicago, and ever since then, he hasn't been the greatest coach in his other stops. He could have peaked, but the point is, he's on his third, this was his third NFL job. He got fired after 2 years from Tampa. He got fired after 1 year from Houston. So it's like, Would you give him a shot, or would you give a new coach who's never coached in the NFL a shot? I think I would go with the new coach instead of this one who's had 3 shots at it. He was great. He was great in the first stop. He was pretty good in the second stop. And the third stop, is just going. You see the trend going down. And so it does not matter if let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. Start the YouTube channel. Go ahead. Don't let anybody derail you from saying, hey, you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready. It does not matter. I do these podcasts, and I might do one, and it's from 6 months ago. It might get 5 views in one day. But then I go back, and you go back months and months and months later, it went from 5 to 20 to 40 to 60. You understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is there's always room for you to grow. There's always room for you to get better. You can gain an audience. You can gain an audience. And people will go back and listen to your old stuff. You can always gain an audience. There's no barrier. There's no, entryway. That's one good thing. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing at the same time. It's like, before you had to work, if you wanted to be an actor in the 80s and 90s, you had to, either go to New York or go to LA. You couldn't sit at home, film yourself, do skits, post it online, and get people to start watching your stuff. No, it didn't work that way. You had to physically get on the bus, get on the plane, the train, however you got there, go to New York, go to LA, say, hey, I want to be an actor. Now you don't have to go to New York. You don't have to go to LA. You can get online. You can post your stuff. It worked for Issa Rae. If you ever heard of Issa Rae's story, she started doing this series on YouTube, and then somebody from HBO saw it, and they thought, hey, we can work with you. And, she got to deal with HBO. And so she didn't necessarily go the traditional route, sort of say. And so she went a different route, and it worked. It might not have worked 30 years ago, but it works now. And so there's no gatekeepers. There's no, hey, you gotta do this or you gotta do that. No. You never know who's gonna start listening to your podcast. You might start a sports podcast. Let's say you start a sports podcast. I'll give you an example. I used to listen to this podcast called Men in Blazers. It was a soccer show, These guys, they started, and then I remember I saw them on TV one day, and they was like, hey, Raj, hey, I forget the other guy named Dave, I think. I know the one guy's name is Raj, and, they was like, oh, we got a TV show, and they started doing TV, and it's like, oh, these guys really grew their platform, and it's like a lot of different things. There's no stopping you. There's no entry point. There's no, hey, you should not do this. No, if you want to create an audience, you want to build an audience. Let's say you don't have an audience, but you want one. You want to find people. Start a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be 40 minutes. Every video doesn't have to start off to be 40 minutes. You can work your way up to that. Just start something. There's nobody that can tell you what you should not do. These days, it's wide open. Yeah, there are more people creating content, but guess what? Most people that create content, they suck. You know this and I know this. You have people that, they watch videos and then they nod their head. How many times can people watch that? Come on, man, that's trash. So there's plenty of room for great content creation. There's room for great content creators. You should be one. There's no stop you. So don't let anybody block a barrier. Don't let anybody tell you, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. So ladies and gentlemen, my nose is pretty stopped up. So we're going to end this podcast early. I hope you enjoyed this brief version of Online Marketing Moves. And we will be back Monday with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, God bless you. Take care. Have a great weekend. And I will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace.